Hello, my name is Tanton, and this is my presentation at the STEP Symposium. Above here you can see that what we were trying to do were to see the effects of the planting date and seeding rate on corn yield. This was spring planted corn. Essentially what our experiment boils down to is that we had 4 planting dates, March 15th, March 21st, April 4th, and April 19th. And we had 4 seeding rates within each of those planting dates. Those are how many seeds are planted per acre. So we had 24,000, 32, 40, and 48,000. So what we essentially did, we went out, we planted all of this, and then we saw how these results were different from what is recommended. What is recommended for corn in South Georgia is the seeding rates from 28 to 36,000 per acre and planting dates ranging from mid-March to mid-April. So if we go over here to the results, we can see that we have our grain yield. For the first planting date, March 15th, we had increased yields at any rate higher than 24,000 seeds per acre. So you see the blue with 32, 40, and 48. And then with the second planting date, March 21st, we showed increased yields at 32,000 and 40,000 seeds per acre. For the fourth planting, April 19th, we have displayed decreased yields in the 48,000 here, as we can see with this little scraggly line here. And that brings us over to the total kernels per ear. For the first and second planting dates, March 15th and the 21st, the total kernels per ear stayed pretty consistent. You see it's kind of like they're little friends, they're staying right neck to neck. But with the second planting, the 21st, you can see an overall decrease as we increase our seeding rate. Then when we come down here, these are essentially the same charts, but we have the average ear length and the average kernels per row. As an overall trend in the data, we see that as we increase our seeding rate, as we can see here, the length and the kernels per row are decreasing. And that makes sense because if you have an ear of corn this large and then you're taking away kernels, it's going to get smaller and smaller. And then we have here our first planting, March 15th, versus our fourth planting, April 19th, where these are both in the 48,000 seeding rate. You can tell that all of these look pretty similar. They're pretty uniform. They're about the same in height. You see the rows are very straight. All the kernels are about the same size. Whereas with our fourth planting, this one is obviously a little runt. And then these two, if you look closely, you can see inconsistencies in the sizing of the kernels and in the placement. So what do we conclude from this data? Well, we are recommending that for max yield that we plant between March 15th and April 4th, which is outside of what is recommended for corn currently, being a shorter growing period. Whereas in here, it's recommended up until mid-April, where we're not recommending that. Then for the ideal seeding rates ranging from 32,000 to 40,000 is what we're recommending, which is very much outside of what is recommended for corn in Georgia, being the 28 to 36,000. So what can we really do and use this information? Well, say for instance you're a producer, you're dead set on planting on March 21st. Something happens, massive rainfall, Kraken bursts out of the center of the earth, what have it. You can look at this and say, okay, well, if I'm going to have to plant at April 4th, what is the best seeding rate for me? Or you can look at this on the other side and